All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Rhode Island Small Business Morning Show. Name pending. My name is Ben Barber. This is Justin
Morning.
Gronteric. And I messed up your name again, dude.
You did, and you had it right like the first 100 times we've done this. I'm a little
Yeah.
disappointed that you have Mr. Barber.
I'm so sorry. Your earbuds are a little fuzzy now.
Are they fuzzy?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me take this off.
All right. Well, while Justin does that, yeah, that's fine. Well, while Justin does that, let me talk to you about our guest today. Our goal for this show is to highlight Rhode Island small businesses. So if you have a small business, Justin, I'm just going to mute you for a second. So if you have a small business that you want to talk about, to advertise, to discuss how you're navigating your way through the COVID-19 crisis or anything else, please let us know. Justin, you're still fuzzy, man.
What
You
the
got another
hell?
set of headphones?
No, hold on. Let me go
All
out
right.
and come in, maybe.
All right. Well, I will talk for a minute while Justin figures out what the hell is going on with his audio. It was fine until we went live, but that is the nature of live streaming. Today on the show, we have Ryan Moran. Ryan is the owner of Elena's Ale House and Elena's Coffee and Kitchen in Richmond, Rhode Island. He has, let's see if Justin is good to go. Hey, Justin. Justin, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, good.
All
right.
Now?
Yeah, we're good. We're all good. So Ryan is the owner of Elena's Ale House and Elena's Coffee and Kitchen in Richmond, Rhode Island. They have been doing. I've used them as an example, literally on every episode of this show that we've done so far, as a business that has found countless creative ways to engage and to make things fun and to bring in business during this time. So let's get them on, right? Why not? Ryan,
Hello.
how are you, bud?
Doing well. Good morning. How are you?
Morning.
Can you hear me?
Good. So you are, I assume, yes, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
I'm still figuring out how to do
All right,
this.
cool.
There
So
we go.
that's all right. So I assume you are probably at Elena's right now.
No, I'm on my back porch. I have two
Oh, very nice.
Yep, I have two tiny little cat dogs who just yip, and my daughter's watching some television very loudly. So I said, let me step outside for a bit.
Dude, that's amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. So tell us a little bit about Elena's Ale House first, and then we'll get into the crazy story. I mean, it's not crazy, but the story of the coffee and kitchen.
Sure. So Elena's Ale House is an Irish pub of sorts, right? We're a full service restaurant that is located on the Beaver River Golf Course, right in the clubhouse. We leased out the clubhouse just over 2 years ago, and tasked ourselves with turning it into a local restaurant that folks think about when they're choosing where to eat for dinner, which was initially kind of a challenge. I know that there are a lot of great restaurants on golf courses, especially locally, but typically, I mean, I grew up in this town. It doesn't tend to be a thought when you're thinking about where you want to go and eat your dinner. So that was a challenge at first, and it has now become an absolute blessing to have a golf course given the outdoor dining situation, because we've got a lot of land to work with. But yeah, we've been open 2 years. I opened it with my friend and business partner, Chris Caswell, and really happy with the way the town has responded to what we're doing over there. So
that's incredible. Yeah. So what I would completely agree with you. I would think that the whatever restaurant had been there for years and years and years was never like something that even people really thought about unless they went there already or were a member of the golf course or frequented it at least. And now you guys are like the place in town, which is really cool. So what does that feel like to have a to have something that was sort of like an unproven spot as a restaurant, and then to make it like the cool destination in the area?
I don't know. For me personally, like one of the most fun things about this whole industry is to have an idea, conceptualize it, and then run with it and have people respond. So like something as little as me waking up in the morning and planning out a special, programming the button, throwing it up on Facebook, and then walking into work with 30 pre-sales of that special. It's kind of like, yeah, I was right. People were gonna like that. So I guess there's a little sense of I don't know, you feel a sense of accomplishment, or just, I don't know. It just feels good. It feels good. The response feels great. I'm very, very happy there. I grew up in Richmond. I've lived in this town my whole life. And I felt like the town needed a restaurant like ours. And it seems like the people in town agree. It's not like we're like, people aren't beating down the door to come in every night, but I mean, it is fantastic. We have a great, great local following of folks, and even people from out of town, people coming from Wakefield and Narragansett on a weekly basis to come join us for dinner, and that makes us feel very happy. And the previous restaurant, again, you're
completely
absolutely right.
and
That particular location, I went in to check it out before we signed the lease, and there was a whiteboard menu with slices of Elio's pizza and $2 hot dogs. It had never truly been a restaurant that operated the way that we do, at least.
yeah. I had been in there a couple times to work weddings.
Mm-hmm.
On the golf course. So Justin, you were saying you were looking at their menu before you got on, and you really want the special at the coffee house today.
Yeah, man, you're making me hungry. I want that quiche. Do a delivery?
You got to get that quiche. We do not deliver, but it's just a quick little jump off the highway.
Yeah, it looks good, and so that's a kind of a good segue to the coffee house. I mean, people are closing businesses, and you guys are kind of opening up. Let's give a go at that. What inspired that?
I don't know. Probably a lack of understanding how serious this whole thing was. No, that's not true. We signed the lease at the start of February with the ultimate goal to open April 1st, and we were gearing up to do so. There were a lot of folks in town who were excited for that to happen, myself included. And then we pumped the brakes because everything was shutting down. But meanwhile, we still had bills, and there was still, we still had to do something with it. I couldn't just let it sit. So I don't know. Many mornings of waking up wishing I had a good cup of coffee instead of the instant coffee that I'm having at home. And we just decided, hey, we could make it kind of like a takeout window, the way that an ice cream shop operates. And the facade of the building kind of calls for that. And no one had done that there before. So after a little bit of planning, we decided to go for it. So we turned one of the windows into a takeout window. We put a nice shelf there. Amy at Finish Line Signs helped us create some corrugated PVC and plastic menus for the storefront, and it looks beautiful. My mom hangs out there every day. She's planting flowers. The grounds are beautifully maintained. Compliments of Deb Moran, and it's actually kind of a cool experience to go and grab a coffee, and you get in line. You place your order and you step out and you just kind of hang out in the lawn, admire all the hard work my mom's done. And then we call your name, you grab your coffee, and suddenly you feel alive again in the morning. I'm currently having instant coffee.
Don't worry, that makes two of us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But he's currently having instant coffee. That's amazing.
I'll be heading off
so Ryan, you've always been nice. You've always been an entrepreneur, though. So you and I met in high school. We worked together briefly at Subway in high school, but you were, when everybody else was like starting bands in high school, you were the one that was like, you know what, let's do this, but let's have merch. and let's like make shows at like the local fire station and like sell stuff. Like did you always know you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I've absolutely had the entrepreneurial drive since as long as I can remember. My uncle had the Trebelli Deli up in Barrington, Seekonk. I don't know. I just remember being a young guy and thinking how neat it was that someone could start their own business and be solely in charge of their livelihood. I thought it was pretty incredible. And the band thing, yeah, I guess I've always just wanted to steer the ship. It's something that I've felt passionate about. Even after the band thing, I started a print shop, and I was printing T-shirts from my basement for a while, and it got to the point where like I had 2-3 of my buddies, and we were printing and mailing boxes of a couple hundred shirts all over the country, and that was a lot of fun. And it wasn't until I was in my early 20s that I got serious about the restaurant industry, and very happy to be doing that now.
Yeah. So
can you tell us?
Ben, I'm cutting you off.
Please do.
I started my business printing T-shirts in the basement, man. So
cool.
We got something in common, and I enjoy coffee.
There we go.
So yeah, see, dreams start in basements. Everybody made fun of me for years for working in my basement, and everybody I talk to says, I worked out of my basement and I worked out of my garage, and now we're all right.
Yeah, absolutely. I love printing. I thought about doing it again.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Yeah, it's a ton of fun. You can come here. You can print anytime you want. We got it all set up. You can come down for old time's sake.
Awesome. Sounds good. I could never in a million years get a good I was awful at making my screens. You know, when you take the squeegee and you get your epoxy up the screen, bad.
It's okay. My screen laughs at me.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I can't coat a screen. I used to buy like these films that you could just lay on top of them and then burn it. And he was like, what is that? He's like, just use emulsion. It's cheaper. I'm like, no, I'm not good at it. That's why I hired you. So, all right, Ben, before I cut you off there.
Oh, that's okay. I was just going to say, Ryan, could you tell us about your partnership with Chris and how that came to be? Because you guys are such a team now. This is your this is like you also had the food truck for a while. Which was incredible. So what formed this partnership with Chris, and why has it been so successful?
Sure. So I met Chris probably 8 years ago or so. We went to Charahoe. He was a year ahead of me, but we didn't really talk back then. But he used to host. He owns Trivia Time USA, and he used to host a weekly trivia at the Wood River Inn, which was my local pub back then. And myself and my buddies would go and we'd play trivia. And I always thought he was a funny guy. I admired his entrepreneurial drive as well, that, he made a good living for himself, constantly promoting his trivia, constantly promoting the other things he would start to do. He started doing DJ gigs, and the dude's funny. So we just started chatting one day, and we became very close friends, and that blossomed into, he started managing the Wood River. I was managing a local restaurant as well. We'd have drinks afterwards here and there and just be buddies. And then I took an opportunity to become the general manager of the Sea Goose in Westerly. And he was thinking about leaving the Wood River and wanted kind of lower commitment bartender jobs so he could do more wedding gigs and things like that. So then we worked together for the first time about 3 years ago. And I think that we just kind of operate the same way. We both like to have fun at work. We both like to forge real friendships and connections with the people that we surround ourselves with, even if they're people who just dine with us regularly. We get to know them, we care. And I just think as far as hospitality is concerned, we're kind of kindred spirits. So when an opportunity came for me to open Elena's, I had kind of written up the majority of the menu, and the lease was already kind of a done deal. And I chatted with him about it, and he wanted to get involved. And I thought, what better partnership to have than someone else who's going to care as deeply as yourself. So that was that. we opened it 2 years ago, and you know, his parents have helped out a ton. My parents have helped out a ton, and it definitely feels like you know, we're kind of like brothers over there. It feels that way. I mean, his family, my family, we all get to know each other really well, and it's a good little partnership. Happy with it.
That's amazing. Speaking of family, tell us about the name Elena's.
Sure. So Elena is my daughter. A lot of people are having trouble pronouncing it. I don't know why we decided to spell Elena that way. I think that's like the millennial parent thing. I don't think I'm a millennial, but I don't know. You know, you spell the name a little bit different because you want to be cool. And now everyone's like, "Are you Al? Are you Alaina?" I don't know. Either way, Elena is her name. Elena Rylan Moran, my 4-year-old daughter, who is the coolest girl to ever walk the planet. And now she has her own restaurant and her own coffee shop, and she tells me where to go and what to do all the time. She's the boss. Yeah.
As we start to shift back to like somewhat normal life, I know you said that the ale house has a lot of outdoor dining being, you know, on the golf course. What are some challenges that you're starting to see, or, you know, the plan for both things as you move in, you know, back to normal a little bit? And, you know, is there any challenges you've had with that, you know, putting those plans in place?
For sure. You know, for the last 8 weeks, the interior of the restaurant was our personal workspace. We had to-go orders stretching the length of the bar. You know, to-go boxes stacked case by case because we had the space to do so and could work without interruption. And it felt great. We built up a great to-go business. It was not a revenue center for us before. We on a Friday night, we could sell, you know, 20 dinners to go or something like that. And then it got to the point with a closed dining room where we were doing 200, 300 dinners to go. And in order to do that, it requires a lot of work from the kitchen and a lot of organization in the front of house. And when you start throwing a Friday night dinner service and patio service into the mix, it gets a little bit more tricky. So this last Friday, we had our 20 tables per the state of Rhode Island, and we sat them all twice. We had 40 total tables sit, and the to-go didn't really slow all that much. So it was a very busy night, and I just, you know, it's going to be a little bit strange for a little bit maintaining the balance between the two. You've got a lot of tickets up on the rail, not knowing, you know, unless I can figure out a couple. I've created a system, or I'm in the process of creating a system where you can easily differentiate between the two tickets. But yeah, I could see that. I could see, particularly when we start inviting people into the restaurant again, a whole new set of challenges. But that's kind of been what this whole thing is, right? Every day is you figuring out how you're going to adapt, because it seems like every week we're going to have a couple new little curveballs thrown at us, and we have to adapt. That's the whole process.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. That's what Ben and I were just talking about a few minutes ago.
When do you?
Ben, you seem to have like a delay.
Absolutely. When?
There's a slight.
I don't know. When do you think you'll be opening back up?
It's tough to say. So we are a 70-seat capacity room, and with the restrictions, that becomes 35. Our bar is 17. It's tough. I think that we've put a lot of care and time into making the outside as inviting as possible, with the 20 tables, a high top bar area that we can seat as dining area and not produce drinks from it, and we'd be good there. I want the focus right now to be outdoor dining, because if we go into the dining room, I can really only put 6, 7, maybe 8 tables there. So let's just reserve that, I think, for inclement weather, backup in case of you know, some folks who are really uncomfortable outside. I know we do get a couple of brisk late May nights and early June, but right now everyone who's making reservations will be dining with us outdoors.
That's awesome. And so you were using your bar now current for, obviously, you know, takeout orders and different things. And I was talking to a place out in Coventry. You know, they're getting ready to set their bar up and socially distance the bar and put some partitions in. Have you guys put any thought into like reopening like the bar seating, or are you going to leave that just mostly for like, service type area?
So I made a couple phone calls. I'm of the understanding, and I don't work for the Department of Health, but I've made a phone call. I believe that you can use bar seating as tabletop and dining seating, so long as drinks are not built in that common area.
Mhm.
So we built a very large outdoor bar that can seat, with social distance, 30 guests.
That's awesome.
We can go, a party of 5, 6, 7, 8 feet of space, a party of 5, and I've got 30 stools and we can use them all, doing it that way. So with that being said, we will continue to use the indoor bar as a private workspace, service bar, and outdoor would be just, bottled and canned cocktails, canned beers, or service drinks dropped in front of you from a beverage runner that's working indoors.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How are you guys gonna handle all the challenges? Like your outdoor seating now, are you guys using like the seating from the inside, or did you have to go out and get some picnic tables and outdoor dining tables?
So again, we did a lot of banquet service. So because of the situation on the golf course, I've invested in a great deal of tables and chairs and things like that. We did take a lot of our dining room furniture and put it on the porch, and then we took a lot of our porch furniture and put it down into the lawn. So we've got a great deal of seating. Yeah.
That's awesome. So one of the things that has come up in a few conversations, as you just mentioned, you're not don't work for the government, but Ben and I have been on a ton of these calls with sanitizing this and DBR and health and commerce and everyone with getting everybody reopened. And a lot of people have always reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm opening my restaurant. I don't know how to do this, or I don't know how to sanitize this. What can you tell other business owners that are in the same situation as you that's getting ready to open on how to, just let the public know it's a safe place to go and enjoy, maybe some of the measures you guys are doing to like sanitize each table and different things like that?"
Yeah. I'm not cool enough to have a tripod, so I feel like I'm moving this darn phone all around, and I apologize.
I'm not either, so don't worry, Ben. I ordered a whole kit of stuff. I figured if Ben and I were going to be doing this, I had to get official here. So
there you go. What was I saying? Oh, with sanitation, right? So you'd like to think that anyone who's running a restaurant already cares quite deeply about the cleanliness of their restaurant and the measures they take table to table to ensure safety, right? So I guess some of it is finding a way to translate and let that message be known to the guests so they can feel as comfortable as you already feel doing things the way you do. So, I installed hand sanitizer stations at the entrance to my building as they walk through to the patio. And then once they get out onto the porch, to the left and to the right are hand sanitizer stations, stocked up all the time, marked as such. I do employ on every shift someone that's dedicated solely to that task, to have sanitizer in a bottle, table to table, wiping every chair leg, chair bottom, tabletop, everything down. And guests are making frequent comment on how good that makes them feel to see and how safe they feel. So really, if you are present and making sure that those things are getting done, then I think you've done what you need to do. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome back, Ben. Where'd you go?
Hey guys. So I went downstairs. First, I shut my fan off in my room because I was like, sometimes that messes with my Wi-Fi. And then I was like, you know what? Sometimes just the extender goes crazy. So I was like, I'm just gonna go downstairs. So I unhooked all of my equipment and I moved myself downstairs and I switched to the main 5G Wi-Fi and now I'm good to go.
Look at that.
There we go. Expertly done.
But
Thanks,
Ryan,
guys.
so back to that. Yeah, I think that's a great plan, and I think that you guys are, I saw someone posted, guys staying ahead of the curve, and that's a great way to be. And I think employing someone just to do those stations is a huge deal. You know what I mean? It shows your commitment to customer safety and feeling safe in the environment, and that's one thing I think I've talked about on a few different calls. as we discuss opening businesses, and I'm sure you could touch on it a bit too, is, just because the businesses are getting the green light now and a restaurant's getting the green light to open, and, gyms can do their thing, and, salons can do it, you got to feel safe as an owner. And I think that is the biggest part. You touched on a little bit earlier how to keep that intimacy with your customers, to show how much you enjoy, them coming in, and you want them to feel safe, and you want to feel safe and engage them. And, it's a different setting now. So, that's my, speech to anyone that's open is really make sure you're comfortable in opening. And I'm sure that's, how you and your business partner kind of felt as you guys opened, and, we opened. And Ben, I would say that you've been open, but you guys get to work from home. You said you haven't left your house in 2 months. Maybe
I literally haven't. Yeah,
house.
I will. That'll be my first stop, is to go to the coffee house and kitchen, or coffee and kitchen, because yeah, it looks incredible. And as soon as they did it, I was like, I can't help. I mean, every single day I see that stuff on my feed, and I'm like, dude, those sandwiches that you're making look insane.
Yeah, we make a good sandwich. A lot of it's the bread, right? That the baguette that we use is just phenomenal. I think that it's just got a nice bite to it. Very happy with it so far.
Can you tell us a little bit about the creative things that you've been doing? Because I've been bragging about how cool my friends are. Can you tell us a little bit about Takeout Bingo, and
Sure.
can you also tell us about the event that you had?
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the famous Takeout Bingo?
Yeah.
Amazing. That's the most genius idea I've heard this entire time.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Yeah, that kind of, we had done, Chris has the rock and roll bingo business and the trivia. And I used to host the rock and roll bingo for him at the Wood River for a little bit. But we were just thinking about, like, so much, I don't know, for me personally, and I guess actually everyone in the world, right? There's only so much experience that you get from grabbing takeout and going home with it. And I think people are severely missing the personality and connection aspect of dining, that you go out, you get to see some familiar faces, you get to chat for a little bit, and you get service, you get hospitality, you get an experience, right? So when you can't have that by just handing someone a bag through the window, we continue to try to think of things that will keep us relevant, keep us in people's minds, and have a little fun, because that's what it's all about. Fun makes it feel like it's not work. So every day we think of what the post is going to be, what kind of promotions we want to do, what we can do to have just make things a little bit more special, a little bit less mundane of just preparing food, putting it in boxes and saying, see you later. And we just want to be a part of the community. If people are going to embrace us and support us, we want to do the same for them. So a number of weeks ago, we had a community drive-through dinner, which was just a thank you after a couple of weeks of strong support for to-go business. We said, you know what, tonight we support you, and we're going to support our staff that's been laid off. And we did a roast chicken dinner. It was chicken, gravy, mashed potatoes, a biscuit, cranberry, corn, the whole nine. And it was free. It was free to anyone who drove through. And we coned off the whole parking lot, made a pull-through lane, and they could come. And if they could afford to, or if they so chose to, they could give a cash donation, which went directly to our staff that had all been laid off. And in less than 3 hours, we served like 825 people. The cars stretched from our parking lot almost to the center of town. It was a sight to behold. People were sending me videos of them in line, and we were moving. It wasn't like the line was, you're just sitting there waiting for us to prepare the food. We were going. And that project raised significant money. Everyone on staff got an envelope of cash that definitely helped them out, for sure. Shortly thereafter, we did Thankful Thursday, which was a similar type event, but to support all the frontline workers and first responders and the folks over at Stop and Shop who continue to work really hard. throughout the whole situation. So for every Thanksgiving dinner that someone purchased for $10, we donated another dinner to those workers. So we fed the fire stations, Richmond Police, State Police in Hope Valley, CVS, a number of businesses. And that was great. So then after that, we said, what can we do that's fun for everyone? And we did the bingo. So if you bought dinner with us, in your box, we sent home some bingo cards and instructions, and we met everyone on Facebook Live and had a couple drinks, made a couple jokes, and played a few games. And we did it again last night. Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome, man. Like 800 and something people for one thing to come out. I think it really goes to show, you know, the class act that your business is, and, you know, how much the community supports that. And, you know, communities are what make businesses. And I think that's why Ben and I have been so involved in a lot of the small business stuff is it shows a lot about the community. It shows a lot about the business owners themselves. And, you know, really hats off to you, man. That's amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We've gotten to do a couple cool things over there. That's, I think in opening our own restaurant, is one of the things I'm most excited about, because you can kind of, the chain of command isn't all that long, right? So you get an idea, you run with it, and if you fail, you don't have to apologize to anyone but yourself. And I've had a blast with it. We've done a lot of really cool things. You know, we put together a scholarship in my father's name's behalf, who passed 2 years ago, but he worked at Charahoe for 30 years. And we did a huge tournament and lobster bake and raised a good chunk of money there. So we've got a scholarship next year for the graduating class of Charahoe. We had hoped to do it this year, but without the in-person awards night and the application process being a little bit different than I had anticipated, we will go live with it next year. So sorry to the class of 2020 for a number of reasons. I hope that everyone's going to be all right. I'm sure everyone's going to be all right, but I mean, I bet you would love to have a graduation. I'm trying to think of something cool we can do for you this summer once we can get some crowds involved again.
And I'm sure that you will figure out something cool, and it'll be a huge event that everybody loves. That's sort of, so the last 5 minutes of everything that you just said, Justin, I'm going to pose this question to you. Is it any doubt in your mind why Ryan and Chris were able to take a location that's never worked before and turn it into the #1 restaurant in town?
No, I think you guys have an amazing head on your shoulders, and you know the vision and the drive to make those things happen is absolutely amazing. And I think, you know, speaking of business partners, there goes mine creeping by in domain. But yeah, I think it's totally, like I said before, it's hats off, man. I mean, the sky's the limit. I think with you guys, my wife and I haven't had a babysitter in quite a long time. Maybe if my mother's watching, because I know she is. Maybe you could take the kids tonight so that we can go down to the ale house and get some food. I saw you got some lobster down there. I saw a little lobster roll thing, and I'm a big fan.
Sir.
So I want some lobster. Can we talk about this delivery? Maybe this should be like your phase 3 of this. This should be delivery to Oceanside Graphics.
We can make. I could probably make something happen. We're a little desolate where we're at. We thought about going with delivery, but I don't know. You could get one order that takes you 25, 30 minutes between, you know, there's traffic, there's construction going on right at exit 3. I don't know.
Delivery.
Fortunately, everyone's been willing to jump in the car.
You know, a good friend of mine owns Old Theater Diner in Coventry, and he said to me, once you bring delivery in, you can never get rid of it. And with delivery, you lose that interaction with customers. And I was like, you know what, man? For the first time ever, you're absolutely right. I see what you're talking about. So
yeah.
Awesome. Well, Ryan, can you just let everybody know where to find Elena's Ale House and Elena's Coffee and Kitchen if they want to check it out, if they never have?
Sure. So we are on, this is when I fail, elenasalehouse.com. We have facebook.com/elenasalehouse. We have an Instagram, which is not really my world still, but there's some great content on there. So look us up on Instagram. I'm sure maybe Ben can throw some links up for me.
Dude, you have amazing photos of your food. Why is Instagram not your world?
I mean, it exists. We're on Instagram. I don't know. I just downloaded Instagram for the first time like 3 weeks ago, and I still don't quite understand how it works. But Facebook, that's my world, I guess. Maybe I'm like a weird old dad. I don't know. We're all over the social media. I work with
yeah, dude, they have a beautiful Instagram.
Yeah, check it out. I think it cross posts, right? So we put up the Facebook post and then it heads on over to Instagram.
All right.
But in real life, where we'd really like to see you is in person. So 343 Kingstown Road, Richmond, at the Beaver River Golf Course. You can join us at the Ale House for some good Irish fare and good, I would say thoughtful and chef-driven pub food. And then Elena's Coffee and Kitchen, where you can grab breakfast sandwiches, bagel sandwiches, baked goods, and some of the best lunch sandwiches around. And effective Monday, we are answering the call for extended lunch hours. So we will be open at the Coffee and Kitchen from 7 a.m. until 5 p.m. daily. And that's at 93 Kingstown Road, Richmond, in the same plaza with our friends at Growing Crazy, Past the Glass, and Shoreline Auto Sales.
Yeah. When I can get a haircut again, I know that I will definitely be stopping by Coffee and Kitchen because I go see Renee at Hair Duo, which is right behind you guys.
Hair Duo's in that. Yep, absolutely. Yep. Oh, and Fetch. Great friends at Fetch, another small business that we love so much. So
yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And like the comments and the people love you. Like when I shared that you were going to be on the show today in the Richmond, Rhode Island group on Facebook, like you guys got over 60 like hearts and stuff. Like cool. The amount that the community has embraced you guys and is reflective in how much you have embraced the community.
Thank you.
And it's beautiful. So
hey, well, we hope to stick around in Richmond for quite a while.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you so much. Have a good day, everybody.
All right.
Thanks for watching.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah. Talk to you soon.
What'd you think of him, Justin?
He's a good kid, man. Like I said, I could see why the business is booming over there. I can't wait to get over there myself. I mean, I don't need a haircut, but
that's awesome. All right. So Justin, can you just let people know where to find you? And if they have a small business that needs help, rismallbusiness.org, all of that info.
Yeah. So if you need info, want to join the gift card services, I might be a little bit muty right now because they just turned the CNC machine on. But go over to rismallbusiness.org, register yourself to be part of that coalition. And then my email address is justin@oceansidegraphicsri. We're doing a lot of social distancing consultations for everybody, trying to put a good plan in place. And, we're still doing regular signs, as you can hear the machine rocking out there. So, keep us in mind, and we look forward to doing this, on a daily, weekly basis.
Awesome. All right, man. Thank you guys for watching. If you have a small business that you would like to be highlighted on this show, also, if you have a better idea for a name for the show, we'd love to hear it. And we will be back Monday, 9 a.m. with more small businesses to highlight. So thank you guys very much. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Ryan, and Elena's. Check them out. Elena's Ale House, Elena's Coffee and Kitchen. Wonderful, wonderful people who are doing a ton of work for the community of Richmond and the greater community of Chariho and Southern Rhode Island. So thank you guys. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And we will see you next week. Have a great weekend. And if you are a small business at noon, check out the Lieutenant Governor's Small Business Virtual Town Hall. If you have questions for the Small Business Administration regarding PPP or any of that info, if you have unemployment questions for the Department of Labor and Training, there's great panels on there of small business owners who might be talking about issues that concern you and your small business. And you can ask your questions directly on there. Justin will be there. I'll be there. So it'll be noon every Tuesday. It's right now it's Tuesday and Friday, noon every Tuesday starting next week. the virtual small business town halls. So that's it for us. Thank you guys very much. Have a good weekend.